We're back with another episode of the Trenton Talks Stories edition. Today we got somebody who's played a very instrumental role in my life in a very short period of time. I consider him a mentor. I consider him an inspiration, and it's crazy. Like when I say I met him a year ago, I'm gonna tell y'all the story real soon. But introduce yourself.
So my name is Rob Wilborn, co-owner of the Skillit Cafe, which we're currently in. Also a Wall Street veteran. I've been working on Wall Street for about 10 years now. And like Lou said, I saw him, young guy, hungry, and, try to do anything I can for him. So I'm excited to be here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I'm going to tell you how we met. Well, I seen the grand opening of Skillit. It was dope. It was raw, and I was like, "Where is this?" I feel like you guys had such a raw grand opening to the point where you seen somebody share it. So after I seen it, it was still up in the air. But one day, my guy Put On brought me in here, and I was like, "Oh, this is different." It was just the vibe of it. Everything about it was just dope. And ever since then, I was like, you know what? Try it out. Support black business. So I would come in here, fell in love with the Too Lit.
That's the steak.
That's the steak. It's a steak with the eggs. I like my eggs sunny side up. I'm a weirdo. It's okay. So I would just do some work in here. I started getting a little bit comfortable. At first, I would say little things like, I'm about to go to Starbucks and do my homework. I don't want to bother y'all. And Deanna was starting to call me out. She was like, boy, if you don't do your homework in here. So I started doing my work in here. And one day, I swear to God, I lied to y'all not. I was writing out my ideas and my plans, and I was trying to write out like the next open mic concept. And this is by the time me and Rob started building some sort of a friendship at the time. He's seeing me in here more and more often. But I'm writing out an open mic concept, and Rob goes, dang, I really want somebody to do an event in here. I swear to God, it made no sense to me. It was like I was being played with by the universe. So I was like, yo, I do events. I'm trying to do an open mic. One thing led to another. He's like, yo, you can do it. I'll give you opportunity. Run an open mic. I showed him my previous videos of doing open mics. And that's kind of how the relationship kind of started from there. I started doing a little bit of events, but it just started with genuinely supporting each other. You know what I'm saying? Like I was in here just doing my homework, doing a little bit of things. I'm in school at the time, But I just say that to say, like, support goes a long way sometimes. You never know who people are or what roles they're going to end up playing in your life. So now we're about a year and a half into our friendship. You get what I'm saying? And it's like, I never realized it would be a business relationship that's growing to the level that it's growing, but it just goes to show that you never know when you genuinely support somebody and you have a service that you can provide, you can always grow together.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And honestly, Lou, just to piggyback on what you said, that's always been the goal for the Skillit. When I first came, so I was living in New York at the time. When I first came back to Trenton, this is 2017, I want to say. Mm-hmm. My goal was to, re-energize the city with the entertainment, with, just the whole, because I was a party promoter. And I know we're probably going to talk about that later, but that was my lane, right? So I wanted to bring the energy to the city, but I think I was probably like 4 or 5 years premature, because to be honest with you, I just didn't have the capital to own my own. And, that's very important because when you don't own your own, you can't make your own decisions. And if I find a young brother, a young sister that, that I see that's doing something, I'm not in a position to put them on. So, fast forward, a few years, ended up opening the Skillit Cafe. And, besides the food, obviously, but one of the goals was just to be like an entrepreneur hub. So, whether it be during business hours, people come in here with the laptop. We opened a station where you can set up the laptops, plug in, just come here, vibe, connect. And I'm glad that you actually saw that before it was known to the public, and you got in on the ground level.
Facts.
But yeah, like honestly, like I'm a great judge of character, and I saw your energy. I didn't even know anything about you, Lou. I didn't know you had Trenton Talks. I didn't know.
Facts, you did.
I didn't know nothing, but I felt your energy, and I was like, listen, like this dude is about something, and from there it's just, hey, the money gonna come. I ain't, I always tell you, Lou, we don't stress about the money. The money's
Facts.
gonna come. It's just about building good relationships and just doing good business. So that's where we at.
Yeah, definitely, man. When I say genuine, man, real genuine, I never ran into somebody that done business with me inside the city in the ways that we done business. Of course, I ran into a lot of great people, but Rob is one of one, and I gotta let the people know. You get what I'm saying? Definitely support the Skillit. The food is banging, but overall, you supporting dope people altogether. But let's get into a little bit of your story, your upbringing. Let's get into how Rob became Rob.
What you want to know? So I was born right here in Trenton, right on Stuyvesant Avenue, right out West Trenton. So, a lot of people don't know Trenton born around here.
Right.
We ended up moving out Lawrence. That's where I graduated high school from. And then I played football, so football was my thing. So I went to college up in New York and, played there for a minute. Got hurt, ended up transferring to Kane University. That's where I got my degree at. But for the most part of my years, I was living in New York and North Jersey. So I got to experience just, I'm not going to say it's nothing wrong with the vibe around here. It was just a different energy. You've been up New York, you've been up, North Jersey. It's just like the competition is just ruthless. It's just to eat or you get eaten. And that's kind of what I learned. And, when I came back down here, it was kind of the same attitude and the same approach that I took, but a lot of people didn't know how to take it. They kind of, I kind of rubbed people the wrong way, and, it just didn't feel right, but they didn't understand. I was coming from a place to where, you had 6, 7 different party promoters on the same block, throwing parties, doing events or opening business. So, you had to grind.
Right.
And then when I came here when I came here and had that same approach, people thought I was stepping on their toes, and it was just a bad vibe. So I had to honestly step back and reposition myself and learn, like, this is Trenton. They're on the up and coming. They're not,
Right.
They're not there yet, but let's try to get Trenton there. Yeah, so that's just me. And then, along from the party promoting, I've always been in finance. I've always liked numbers. I've always dibbled and dabbled in the stock market. So I ended up getting a job on Wall Street when I was 24, I want to say, and then moved up the ranks, became operation manager, trainer, and now we have a financial advising team that we work with. So, yeah, and I like to give back, volunteer to the youth, and that's just me.
So let's talk a little bit about going from party promoting to Wall Street, because that's not no big jump. You just summed it up real easy.
Yeah.
But for kids listening, like, what did you learn was similar and what was different from party promoting and your experience on Wall Street?
So it's all about a hustle. Like, the financial advisors on Wall Street, they know how to hustle. The party promoters, they know how to hustle. So it's the same game, but just a different game. So I was able to translate that easy. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
But, and I started promoting parties because I had to. I was dead broke. I was living in Newark by myself, dead broke. My mom, if she had the money, she would have, but, you know how it is. We from the town. We just don't have it like that.
College
but
kids
so I had to figure it out. So one day I went up to a bar, I believe it was called Mango's at the time, and I went up to the owner and I said straight up, listen, how much it is to rent out this whole place? And I think he told me a number. It's like $1,000. I said cool, and then from there ended up bringing like 500-600 people. Ended up making some money off of it, and that was my start. party promoting. And then, you know, as far as like with Wall Street, you know, I've always been good with numbers, but I honestly thought about leaving Wall Street a lot of times, but there's not a lot of people, young men and young women that look like us that are able to get that opportunity.
Right.
It's easy for me to get up and leave, but I can't bring anybody up and put them on that platform if I'm not inside Wall Street. You understand what I'm saying? So that's a big part of the reason why I've stayed there for so long, because I've gotten so many brothers and sisters opportunities and jobs, you know, and to this day, you know, they thank me. And, you know, that right there is just, you know, a blessing on its own. So
that's what the people don't see, you know.
That's what they don't see.
But I want to ask more of the financial literacy aspect of Wall Street. What did you learn differently when you became around all these financially opulent people compared to people throwing parties? Like, what was the difference in the way you moved when you came across this new information?
Long term, and that's a great point. Everything on the stock market, not everything, but the majority of it is long term. Long term strategies, just long term investing. With the parties, it's quick. What we gonna make that night? Quick. But real wealth is built over a long period of time, right? And that's a part of the conversation what I said about owning my own business. I used to go to the venues, drop $10,000 a night just to rent out the venue with an artist, literally. Maybe sometimes $10,000, $15,000 a night to rent out the venue with an artist. Sometimes I'll profit, sometimes I'll catch a lick, but I just started thinking, what do the wealthy people do? The wealthy people are not putting up $15,000, $20,000 and give it to the owner of the spot to hopefully make back something in one night. No, we'll take that $15,000, grab the spot, and you can make that back 365 days of the year. So that's the concept that I started, you know, promoting even to my friends who was up north and in New York, and a couple of them ended up grabbing spots. I'm hoping it's because of the wisdom that I, you know, put into them. But seriously, a lot of them got bars now, clubs now, because it just literally didn't make sense for us to be putting all this money and resources into one night and hoping instead of, you know, acquiring our own. So I guess to answer your question, that was the thing I learned from Wall Street, you know, to the promoting aspect.
Why is it so hard? Because I ain't gonna lie, even like when I jumped into the stock market and I started putting money in, I was like, I don't feel like waiting. But why is it so hard for us to get into this mindset of long-term investing?
It's a habit. It's the habit. We as a culture, I would say, don't have the habit of saving money. Everything that is being promoted to, you know, our industry with the entertainment, TV we watch, just everything around us is just spending, fast money, spending. If you walk down the city of Trenton, do you see one investment firm? Being honest. Have you seen one of them? You've seen a bank, but the banks are shutting down now. But there's no investment firms. I don't even know too many tax offices. I don't know, like, you know what I'm saying? Like that language.
Talk about it.
That language we're just not born with. So the first time that you might hear some language like that, probably 24 years old. After that, you already stuck in your ways. So it's really not us. It's the environment that we in. So we are a product of our environment. But a lot of people don't want to talk about that because, you know, they seem like we're making excuses and stuff like that. But no, like when you walk outside and the only thing you see is a liquor store, the only thing you see is a corner store, the only thing you see is a laundromat, how do you even know that there's a whole nother billion, $trillion industry out there? And the schools, they not teaching it. They not teaching it. The first time I went into the schools in Trenton High, I go there yearly now, but the first time I went in there, they had no idea what I was talking about. The second time I went there, the kids was teaching me stuff. Seriously, the kids was teaching me stuff. Because the first time I went in there, they went out and did their own research. I went in there, they like, Mr. Rob, this, Twitter doing this, and just because they don't know.
That fast.
That fast.
So do you think this is some information that we can start the public to plug into schools earlier and earlier? I mean, if we did have the influence or the power, but even this is something that we should start kind of teaching kids or giving information to the younger generation earlier.
Yeah, it's not even should. It's we have to or we're going to become extinct. That's just the bottom line. Like, it's not should we or, when will we. We should have been doing it. Now that we haven't been doing it, we got to do it and do it at a fast and rapid pace. Because, we're not just only dealing with other Americans now. We're dealing with people across the world that are coming here to America that are far more advanced than us. You understand what I'm saying? So right now, I believe in every school, in kindergarten, you should be talking about the stock market in some capacity. In some capacity. It don't have to be, that in-depth. But you can, you can put little blocks and tell them, to save money and stuff like that. Even we talked about AI. We talked about engineering. We talked about STEM. Like, we have to be very, very direct right now with our young kids starting in elementary school of the knowledge that they obtain and make sure that they're able, to survive in this world. Because half our kids that graduate from the inner cities, even if they get enrolled in college, they won't be able to keep up. Seriously, they won't be able to keep up just because of the information that they didn't learn. And that's why the dropout rate is so high amongst the urban. Seriously.
So I see this is something that, clearly we all passionate about it, but you see this in a different lens, being a young man from Trenton, New Jersey that's on Wall Street, so to speak. We see you, during the mornings or when you are here. We see you here, but the other aspect of you that we don't know is, that you work on Wall Street. So let's talk about this financial literacy that you do have when it comes, not to go too into debt, of course.
No, yeah, of course.
As far as like the kids that are watching this, what's some terms that they need to start to research or understand?
Invest. That's one term. I would say just the stock market in general, stocks. A lot of times, I'll just give you like a little breakdown. So when I go into the schools and teach, right, I always bring props. I bring my Balenciagas, I bring my Jordans, I bring my, my Fendi belt, Louis belt, and all that, right? Bring all these props. And I show them, like, listen, I paid this for all these items. Lay them out on the table. But I could have bought 300 shares of that company. I could have bought 100 shares of that company, 50 shares of that company, 25 shares of that company. And instead of me wearing it on my belt, or instead of me wearing it, that company will actually pay me in dividends. That's another term, dividends. That company pays me every time they make a profit. You understand what I'm saying? So we just got to rethink. We can still buy the designer. We can still buy the clothes. We just need to buy it in a different way. We need to buy a portion of that company, which is buying the stocks, and let them pay you. So.
Yeah. And another way I like to try to break it down to people, I'd be like, there was some guy who probably bought a McDonald's stock in 1995 for whatever price it was. So if he bought McDonald's for $5 and whatever amount of shares that was worth at that moment, he'd be a billionaire today, right? And depending on how the math worked. But when we talk about stocks, I always look at them as, even like people. Like when I'm investing in my friends or investing in even my own company, like Trenton Talks, that's a stock. Skillit is a stock. We're not on the stock market yet.
Yeah, no, of course.
But we stocks, and that's why when you talk about long-term, seeing long-term with what you got going on, I feel like, seeing yourself as a stock is also very important, and being able to invest in yourself.
Yeah, and you really don't need much, Lil, honestly. Like most of my clients, the majority of my clients probably never made over 50, 60,000 a year. And you're talking about a firm that only touches, an office that only touches clients that has 250,000 or more. And most of them never made over 50,000. So how is that possible? Just saved. Like, the stock market is a tool. There's no trick. There's no gimmicks. You put your money in there, compound interest. That's another term. You want to talk about terms? Compound interest. Look up compound interest. Over 40, 50 years, you can put that same $1,000 into the stock market over 40 years. It might end up being 300, 400,000 without you even putting or contributing anything, just off the residual interest, the dividends, and the compound interest. You understand what I'm saying? So,
and they teach us this in ways that we don't pay attention to. Like I've been in high school classes where we learn about compound interest, but in the way that it's taught, you don't look at it like this.
Yeah.
In terms of investing, we looking at it like little linear charts and non-linear charts. We seeing a difference in the jumps, but I feel like if you did explain it to a high school kid in the way that we explaining it right now, I feel like they would definitely pay more attention to it, because everybody coming from poverty, their goal is firstly to get out of poverty. That's the biggest goal, and I feel like the education system, ignoring that and trying to go around that, is just like, it just becomes more and more of a slap in the face as you grow up.
Yeah.
No,
I agree, and it's like a foreign language. I always tell people, like, even when I had to pass certain tests and stuff like that, man, it done been nights. Honestly, I've been so frustrated, Lou, I started crying. Like, honestly, I started crying, because it's literally, think about it, like learning a foreign language, because you grow up all your life not hearing none of these terms. And then you 20-something years old. By the time I started, taking my test, I was 26, 27. Mm-hmm. So I ain't hear really none of these terms. And you throwing, the compound interest, the dividends, like all that stuff at me. I don't even know what you're talking about.
Right.
I don't know what you're talking about. And then I look at some of my colleagues and their families. They're sitting at the kitchen table. They having these conversations with a 4-year-old. Literally with their 4-year-old. The same terms that I'm learning at 27 with a 4-year-old. So by the time they turn 18, imagine how fluent they are. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So, and right now, we don't have no excuse. We used to have an excuse, but we got access to so much information right now with YouTube, Google, all the social media sites. There is no excuse at all why families are not financially literate. No excuse.
So let's transition a bit to Skillit, from throwing parties in college, growing up in North Jersey for college, of course, and hitting Wall Street, learning about savings. When did you get to a point where you started, all right, I'm ready to invest, and why did you end up here? How did you end up at the spot we at right now?
That's a great question. That's a great question.
I'm just working backwards.
No, I understand. I mean, honestly, if I'm being fully transparent, I was just tired of losing money. Like, it was just, like, I had all the ideas, but it just didn't seem to go right. Because I was always underneath somebody else's umbrella, if you will, right? The owner of the spot, he don't want to invest in security. So I threw an event here. My first event, 2017, I think it might have been. At the time, I brought 2 Millie. He had the hottest song at the time, the Millie Rock. I brought him to Cooper's. They didn't want to invest into security. Party got shot up. 2 people got shot. Right? That's a setback. I didn't give up at that time. I ended up bringing Fetty Wap here. Ended up bringing Cardi B. Ended up bringing a few other people, Funk Flex, just a few other people. But I didn't have the ownership of the spot, so people was getting it free, and it was just a whole lot of stuff that I didn't have control over, right? So I ended up losing a lot of money over that. And I think it was at a point in time where I was just tired. I just sat back and said, listen, I'm done. I'm tired. I need something different. And then that was that breaking point to where I said, listen, I'm done throwing parties. I'm not throwing another single party until I own the club. That's what I said. I sat there and I sat in my car. Honestly, I remember that. I went out Philly, right out Old City. I said, I'm not throwing another party until I own the spot myself. And I kept my word. I still haven't really thrown a party, but we own Skillit, but I've had events and stuff like that. But still, I'm still looking to own a venue, right. And because a lot of people, don't think like us, right? So when they see us come in with ideas, when they see us come in, with different initiatives, they get scared. And, I'm not scared of us. I understand that we might get a little loud, we might get a little ratchet, understand. But, you gotta know how to control it. Mm-hmm. Even with the open mics, when you came in with the open mics, like I know what it is, right? You're gonna get some people that's, fresh out the hood. You're gonna get some people that's good or whatever like that. But you still need it because they still need to express themselves. You just gotta have it in a controlled environment in a way where it makes sense. Mm-hmm. Right? But if you go somewhere else, they're going to look at you like, oh, no, because I saw the people you brought in, Lil. I'm like, bro, you don't need a Kodak. You don't need the, what's the name, mask. You don't need it, bro. Like, but, but I understand it, right? Somebody else came in, he saw him with the ski mask. He might think he ready to rob the joint. Mm-hmm. But I just know that's just the culture. You feel me? So
we had to tell security, let him know no ski mask.
No, but you know what I'm saying? But that's just the part of the act. You know what I'm saying? But like we just got to get back to people with ownership and interest that understand our culture. But yeah, that's how I got here. And then as far as the Skillit in general, I want to touch on this. My late father, he passed away Father's Day 2021 on Father's Day. And he was a big chef, big cook. He was from Houston, Texas. All our recipes are really predicated on, his cooking. The Southern shrimp and grits, fish and grits, chicken and waffles, stuff like that. And, he ended up passing away before I opened a restaurant. But his whole goal was to open up a restaurant. So I was going to do it anyway on his behalf, but it just worked out that he wasn't able to see it. So that's really where the restaurant, came into.
That's major. So it's almost like a tribute.
Yep.
In a sense.
Yep.
That's dope. And like another thing, like when it comes to the food here, y'all definitely have a flavor to it, spice to it, it's seasoning to it, where not gonna say most breakfast spots, but a lot of breakfast spots you don't have that kind of adventure when it comes to eating the food. Did y'all really focus on adding them type of rocking to the taste buds?
Yeah, absolutely. Like we stand on it. Like I want you to eat the food and be like, "Man, I'm at grandma's house." Like honestly, I want you to come and walk in here and be like, "Yo, it smell like grandma's house." That's how we want you to walk in there. And guess what? You say the food ain't robbed, the grits ain't in, the fish ain't hitting. Man, bring it back. What Gigi say? If it don't lock up, bring it back. Bring it back. Mm-hmm. That's the like we're not playing around here. Like seriously, like we want people to enjoy what we do because we put our heart and effort into there. We got people in the back that's chopping real potatoes, cracking real eggs. Mm-hmm. Like you understand what I'm saying? Like this ain't no gimmicks and no games. We're not selling you no expired food, no fake food, none of that. It's heart and soul in there. And I just really want people to feel that when they take every bite. I want you to feel the people back there putting their heart and the soul back there. And I think that's why, people have gravitated towards us because like some things you can't fake. Being honest, like you can go to a corner store, get a little food and stuff like that. It might be a little cheaper, but you can't feel that soul.
Right.
You can't feel that pain. You know what I'm saying? We got some people back here that's cooking. They got felonies. This their last chance. Seriously, this they last chance. They got pain in that food that they cooking, and you could taste that. You know what I'm saying? They putting their effort. Serious.
And y'all also have a good blend with, as far as Nana having the like an Afro-Latina vibe all together. You know, I see y'all do a lot of catering as well.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah, we got so my partner Deanna, she's co-owner as well. She's Puerto Rican and black. So we have the Latino, we have the Caribbean package, and we have the Latin package and the soul food package on the catering. So for all my Latinos out there, we got the rice and beans, we got the empanadas, we got we got everything for y'all. The pollo guisado, everything for y'all, what you need. But yeah, it's just a different twist, different vibe. So it's the culture, man.
So I wanna ask you. There was a post last week that went viral about a guy, criticizing the restaurant.
Okay.
How do you feel as far as like dealing with criticism? How do you deal with it?
Can I say the name? Or we can't say the names on here.
I mean, I don't know if you have a
So
relationship with
yeah, I remember the post you was talking about. They posted about Royal Cakes. They just opened.
Mm-hmm.
So the funny story is the executive chef, Matt, that's been one of my best friends since first grade. So I seen personally his transition. I actually got in front of it and commented on it. Nobody asked me to, but that's like,
Yeah,
I took that as a direct hit because I really rock with him. Mm-hmm. And I really rock with them because I know for a fact that they put their heart and soul behind everything they do. It might not come out 100% right every time. It might take long and stuff like that. But, that's what we need. We need more businesses like that put the effort in.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like they're trying to provide a full service. What I mean by full service to people who don't understand the restaurant industry, Trenton has a lot of takeout restaurants. So you come in and, you order the food, they got it on a warmer, and they put the platter. That's cool for Trenton. But if you want to attract people from outside to come here, to fly out from Atlanta, Houston, Texas, and all kind of Orlando, LA, you got to have a full service with servers, and that food got to be looking good. That's what they're providing. It's hard to do that. You know what I'm saying? So you got to give them some time. But people aren't going to come from out of town for takeout. People are going to come out of town for that stuff that they got over there, for the stuff that we got here. So we really need to be in. So that's why I commented, because even though that person might have felt like that on that post, keep it to yourself or contact the owners directly, because with a new business, somebody tried to bash us when we first started opening. It almost tore us apart because we didn't really have the credibility like they had, because they've been cooking, they've been around for a while. We had just, really started. And that almost tore us down. So I personally know how that felt. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
But imagine if you had Skillit Cafe, Royal Cakes, and maybe like 6 or 7 other businesses like that, full service, right down here downtown. People from around the country will literally say, yo, we going to Trenton. Literally, we going to Trenton. I don't know what we just going to Trenton because I know they got, they got some good food, they got a vibe, they got and everybody's going to eat. Everybody's going to eat. So that's why I'm going to always support them. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. And I seen somebody really kind of break it down. It was like a new business can't really take the criticism, not the criticism, but can't take the jab as a McDonald's franchise. you could crush a new business by making a funny jab or doing these type of things. So we need to be more mindful of these little jabs. It might be a little jab to you, but somebody that's really investing, thousands, and, into their business, you could have just had a bad day. It could have been a bad day, but you're taking this jab in order to destroy a couple different lives, more than 10 lives at once, potentially. But sometimes, we just don't think about what we do at times.
Yeah, and we're gonna get off the subject, but we purposely didn't promote heavy when we first opened because of that. Just because I've been in the restaurant industry for a while, like hospitality restaurant, I've been there for a long time. And I noticed growing pains when you first open. So, like, when we came out, our potato was rock hard, bro. Like rock hard. It'd be like, yo, how we fix that? So, but luckily it wasn't that many people, that much traffic coming in, so we had time to adjust. The two lit that you like. Man, it took us like 4 months to try to get that steak right, bro. Like seriously, it just
That's my shit.
Yeah, it just takes a while to get that. We couldn't even make an over easy egg. It just take a while. But now, like 6 months later, the final product, somebody walk in, it's like, oh, Skillit is, boom, 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 boom. They gonna get there too, but just
be patient.
Yeah.
Long term investing.
Long term.
Back to the topic. Long term investing.
That's the time.
But no, the Skillit has definitely a culture, a vibe to it. It has that lit. Like when y'all added that lit, that was definitely purposeful. You come in here, the music is banging. I don't know what playlist y'all got, but that should be banging.
Don't worry about that, man.
It be banging. And, the playlist is banging. You around beautiful people. It's just like the entire vibe is just there. The energy is up in here. So. That was definitely purposeful. I know it was.
Yeah, it was definitely purposeful. But that comes with, like you said, like the full circle. Like we hire people and tell them you better be yourself or you won't work here. Like literally, you better be yourself or you won't work here. And they really take that and they own it and they run with it. The only thing we ask for is just to be respectful. Be respectful for the guests and be respectful to the owners and the staff. Other than that, man, I want you to be yourself because that energy and that personality, that's what we want. Mm-hmm. That's what the people want to see. Honestly, they don't want to come in here and see nobody frowning like this.
What you want?
Yeah, what you want? What? They don't want to see that. So, yeah.
What's without you giving us too much, the vision? Talking about an investor here.
Yeah, the vision, right? So it's tough on the vision because I'm an impulse person. Even though I invest, I'm an impulse person. So I might have something laid out, but by the time it gets there, it's probably switched up 10 or 15 times before it gets there, right? But I want this obviously to be a hub, in Trenton. But, for myself, I see it being larger than what it is, right? I could see it being a chain. Because I personally, I just might be because I'm invested in it, but I can see this being around the country, like the concept, the food. I really could. So if that opportunity presents itself, I would love to franchise Skillit, honestly. So that's my answer for you, bro.
Franchise.
Franchise.
Yeah, why not? It's there. The vibe is there. The food is there. Everything is there. So this is what we need to see. We need to see more examples of this. You laying down a blueprint. Like I said when I started the interview, it's gonna be kids watching this, and a lot of kids, they've been asking me like, yo, where's that restaurant you be at? So. We're gonna get out in the community more and make sure that they're aware, even if we teaching them financial literacy,
100%.
Doing more little things. But you definitely are a role model, not only just to those listening, but to me as well. Cause even for you to say you seen where I'm at, and you seen where I'm trying to go, and that was kind of like, okay, that kind of gave me some hope, cause everybody have their down days, and especially being a young entrepreneur, like I don't necessarily throw parties, but I'm kind of in that lane as far as throwing events and community service and all that. So you seeing my stage and offering me hope, that kind of like put a battery in my back as well to be able to and charge up others.
Yeah.
And continue to just do what you did for me to do for others. Exactly, pretty much.
Yeah, and that's honestly what I really want, Lou. Like, if I invest in you, I just want you to reciprocate that and invest in, somebody else that you see coming up. That's all I ask.
Right.
Like, honestly, that's all I ask. And that's the only way that, we going to get ahead. And, yeah, really, that's the only way we going to get ahead, as a culture, is we just got to look one another out, because I personally didn't have that. Everything I got was out the mud. You know what I'm saying? Made a lot of mistakes and made a lot of errors. Like I said, lost a lot of money. That's just trial and error, right? Because I just had to. But if I had a mentor to, to guide me around the way, I'm 33. I probably would have been in this position at 26. You know what I'm saying? But, I thank the Lord that I went through that so I can teach people how to not go through that. But if I see a young brother like yourself who got the vision, that would just be irresponsible for me to have you go through everything I went through when I know you about to go through everything. Like, it just don't.
And it's like people want you to go through it. It's like, nah, you got to go fall on his head like I did.
Man. It just like, I feel like that's a culture thing too. It's almost like even with the parenting, it's like, yo, I struggle, well, you gonna struggle. Nah, listen. You can teach the kids responsibility and teach them how to appreciate, but they don't gotta go through the same exact struggle you went through, because it's gonna be a cycle. You come here and you start here. You come here and start here. Nah, why don't we start here?
Right.
Yeah, why don't we start here? Why we gotta always start from 0? Why don't we start from 50? And hopefully I can present an opportunity to you, even though it's small. This ain't much, but
it's a lot.
But you understand what I'm saying?
It's major for me.
But you understand what I'm saying? So you don't gotta start from 0, bro.
Facts. Because the next thing I was really looking for was a studio. That was the biggest thing on my hit list at the moment. So I might as well officially tell him now.
Yeah, man.
So like, he offered me a studio space. He seen what I was trying to do. He seen what I have done, and I've had studio spaces before, but this was like a big offer for me, because it was like, I knew what I was gonna have to kick in to get it done, and I knew how long term it was gonna take me. But for me to run into it at a much faster rate, it kind of just projected everything that I was trying to I took all the excuses out. And even after he offered me, I still took another month because I couldn't believe that. I'm like, what? I couldn't really believe it. So it's like, I took another month just to make sure everything was a T. Because even when I was given the opportunity to open mics here, I had to make sure that I proved myself when I was doing those events to make sure that everything was perfect, from security to every little thing. That's how I want it to be as far as the studio that we have in here. So we're trying to launch, well, we're not trying, we're launching a network of different shows, different opportunities for entrepreneurs.
You're hearing it here first. It's exclusive.
It's launching, man, and it's I've had this vision for a while, man, and God put people in your life for a reason. It's like, it's here, it's literally here. Like, we've done a couple different episodes. We finally found a stable audio engineer. Shout out to John.
Shout out to John.
We learned, I learned how to properly edit these and systematically have them ready for Instagram. So we're ready to launch. We have different people that we know that's gonna that have their own show. Hopefully Rob gets ready to have his financial literacy show. We got women empowerment shows coming. We got comedians coming with shows. We got my boy Quay from Much Better coming with a show. So it's here, man.
It's heavy.
It's here. It's definitely here, and hopefully this will emerge the culture altogether and truly rise. With maybe a year from now, we'll see a whole different world. You get what I'm saying? A year from where we at right now? It's September 7th. So September 7th, 2024. I'm telling you, it's gonna be a major shift starting with what we're doing right now. All right? But got to give the props to Rob again for seeing the vision. And it's just beautiful when everything comes together, you know. So great episode, man. Shout out to Big Bro.
You already, man.
Getting everything together. And what's next? What we got going on next, man? As far as what's the next event?
Well, I know we got your open mic we've been talking about in October. The date is not, officially out. I got a few financial workshops coming out. We're going to put it out on Trenton Talks. We'll also put it on the Skillit page. We're actually going to team up with Quayshawn at Much Better Studios. So it's going to be an entrepreneur / financial literacy workshop. It's going to be real dope. Real dope. Might have an after party afterwards. You know the vibes. You know how we get down. But what else? We got, just private events. We open for booking. So if you want to book us, email infoskillitcafe@gmail.com. We full service. We could do your food, or you can just book your space for any events. Yeah. But we out here. We outside, man. Outside. I'm sorry. Open mic. Open heart poetry.
Open heart poetry.
Will's gonna kill me because I forgot the date. Can anybody look up the date real quick?
September 29th, I believe.
September 29th. It's a Friday. September 29th. Open heart poetry. We just had the block party last week.
That was dope.
Super fire. So we blocked off the whole street. Had the artists perform outside. Had the chairs, sofas, the whole tents, everything was crazy. But we're bringing it back inside this time in September. If you get a chance, come out. It's going to be dope. And we're probably going to have that every month. It's open heart poetry. And then, if anybody's listening, if you have an idea, if you have an event that you want to bring, we got a drag show coming in October. Drag show coming in October. I don't have the date. But please follow the Instagram page, Skillit_cafe on IG, and you'll see the flyer about the drag show that's coming up. But yeah,
that's what we got going on.
That's what we got going on.
Couple more things in the draft, but we can't let y'all know everything. We gotta, one thing he's teaching me is really having the idea formulated and unique. It's easy to do an event. But we really want to make these next events unique. The next open mic got to be totally different from the last open mics, So we got different things coming up, but we won't present it until it's formally ready and unique. But there you have it, man. As I always ended up, it's another Trenton Talks story episode. So today we have the story of a young entrepreneur from Trenton, New Jersey. Started off throwing parties. Went to college, was on Wall Street, and brought back his financial literacy in order to bring a business to his neighborhood, and looking forward to teaching the young people around here.
Appreciate you, Lou, for having me, man. Seriously.
That's the story we're hearing, and the story continues. And we out.